Hello, hello. So, this is an impromptu video. It's just, I don't know, I woke up with this on my mind today to share, and I feel like I can't go to bed without sharing it. So, it makes me a little bit nervous to talk about it, but not that nervous, mostly because spirituality is spirituality, right? But shamanism is something entirely different. Um, you utilize a lot of the same concepts, sure, but the process of it is so insane and different. It's very different, but I feel like I'm being made to share it because a number of people are going to be going through it. And so I guess you should know what it feels like. Um, so, initiation, regardless of what anyone says, shamanic initiation only happens by way of spirit. You are chosen and you are initiated, and that's that. Um, there are people who try to teach shamanism. That's not the same. There are people who try to quote unquote initiate people into shamanism. Also, not real. It's always been the same way. Spirit chooses you, whether it's before birth. There's certain people who say, oh, their parents were shamanism or it runs in the family. You still must be chosen. It has not a lot to do with bloodline. But anyway, spirit chooses you and you are initiated by spirit first. So it's super common for people to have NDEs or OBEs, which are near-death experiences, or you actually die experiences, and also dream is a common way of initiation for things to happen to you in your dreams. What I want to share is that I kind of had both in maybe like I kind of had both an OBE and an NDE in a sense, because the only reason I say both because no one was there to verify it. No one but me and my spirit guides. But that was like 2010, 2011. But when I knew that I was for sure, it's not, it's, like it's unmistakable when it happens to you. When I knew for sure that I was being initiated was probably as early as 2013. No, 2014. It was 2014. I remember now. That was because I went to Baltimore in the latter half of 2014. And that's when I thought I was digging deep in spirit until I got initiated. And so the first process for me where I knew that like something abnormal was happening was that I was around certain ancestors. Some of their faces looked very familiar, as in I knew them, and some of them I did not know them. Their faces just, right, like I know I'm looking at my people, but I don't know y'all by names. And the first part, because I'll talk about it in another video, but the first part of initiation, you need to not only be initiated, but you have to do things in order to gain power. You have to go through things, further initiations to gain power as a shaman. And I'll talk about those separately so that this video doesn't go on for forever. But when I first knew that I was being initiated, I had a dream that I was being carried on like some type of cot. by my people, and we were in a wooded area. They were carrying me, and I was laying on this cot, and nothing was wrong with me. I was just laying on it, and they stopped and propped me. Um, they stopped and they propped me up on top of something else, and they were all basically, I was like at body level with them, and they started singing and dancing around my body, and I thought that, in my mind, I thought that I'm just going through this healing ceremony with them, and I was just thinking, I'm grateful for the healing, I'm grateful for the healing, thank you. And that's all I was thinking about. And the next thing I know, a few of the elders came in closer because people were dancing in a circle, but not like a tight circle. And it was like suddenly the circle became tight, and the elders were in this inner circle, and they started to cut me. They cut. They cut my waist, and they cut it open. And I tried to jump up like this because obviously I can feel that. And that's when I realized that I was being held down. I didn't feel it before, but they were holding me. It was like the singing and the dances puts you in this trance like mood where you practically feel high, right? You don't feel um, the physical sensation of being. Like, I didn't feel like I was laying on a cot. It felt like I was floating in the air. That's how high I was feeling from the songs and the drums that were being played and the dancing and all of that. There was a certain spirit going on. And when they cut me open, I felt it. Like, that's when I realized, like, oh shit. And they started taking my organs and passing it around, and each one of them was saying something over top of the organ. And at that time, when that was happening, I didn't really understand that language very much at all. And I just knew that something was happening, and I was watching in horror, like these people taking out my organs and just passing them around, passing them around. I watched them pull out feet of intestines, and they're passing it around, and they put them back in, and they stitched me up. And that was part one, because this is the other thing is when these things happen to you spiritually, when it happens to you in your dreams or your visions or whatever, when it happens to you, your physical body suffers as well. And so when that happened to me, I was sick to my stomach for a few days. Like, I remember I called out of work because I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop vomiting. I was very sick. I had all of these flu-like symptoms. My stomach was killing me. I just did not feel well. I had a fever, but it wasn't super bad. Not like from another initiation that I experienced, that I'll tell in another video because it was an animal initiation. But it was horrible. It was horrible, and the body has to pass through it in order to. That's you stepping into that initiation, and that was just the first part of it. There was the second part. I was dismembered and stitched back together. Dismembered as in they chopped my arms in each piece, like at the elbow, at the shoulder. I was in pieces, and I was like outside of my body, looking at, why did you do this to my body? Why did you do this to my body? And they're like, you want to get back in? And I was like, well, what else am I going to do? Be here with you? you know? I was kind of pissed about them doing that. And they were like, then you need to know how to put it back together. And I ended up stitching myself back together. Like another version of myself was stitching me that was chopped up self. And it was done so in such a way to break the ego and to make me realize that I'm just the being that lives inside of this body. I'm not her, right? That was the point of that initiation, to break away from what we think we are, And a lot of people want to be shamans, they want to be magicians, they want to be all of these seemingly powerful things, but you have to understand that you are just the borrower, you're just the home for that power while it dwells with you. And that's what I learned in the process of initiation, to always stay humble. I think that when you are not humble, is, it leaves room for punishment. Let's put it that way, and not initiation, but punishment. But I wanted to share that because, as I said before about losing elders, we are losing elders. We're losing them all around us. And if y'all are paying attention, there's so many shifts and changes that are happening, and we are constantly being distracted from them, so that we don't put energy on the things that could change the way that we're living now. But either way you look at it, we are in a time of change. I mean, we had a couple of eclipses back to back, and eclipses last out throughout 6 months. We've got the blood full moon in Scorpio. We're in Mercury retrograde. There's a whole lot going on. And you best believe that on a personal level, yeah, it can be difficult, but though it's not confined to you as a person individually, right? When these shifts and change happen, they happen on a world level, in a political way, right? In ways that change our everyday life. So you can expect to see changes. And in the midst of those changes, we new leaders, as you know, the other ones exit the stage, new leaders are going to step up, which means that there's going to be more people with a calling to shamanism, and in practice in different ways. And so if you are by chance, beginning to experience it, or have experienced something like what I'm describing, it can be far more brutal. It can be less brutal, but it's unmistakable when it happens to you. If you are, feel free to contact me, email me. We can chat about it, because it's not an easy thing to go through. And it's just time to make way for the Aquarian age, for the new lessons and teachings that need to be taught. It's time for change. So I hope everyone is doing well. I'm a little tired, but altogether I am doing well, exceedingly well. I hope you find yourself same or better. And I'll be following up soon about the animal initiations as well.